Hello, everybody. On tonight's episode of Backseat Quarterbacks, I'm joined by Darren as we talk about all the action from the Landman Season 2 finale. Wow. Not a great season, I'll be honest. Kind of went downhill in the second season, but the finale delivered, and I'm ready for Season 3. We're actually going to talk about football, of course, the thing that keeps the ticker ticking. And wow, what a weekend of football. I mean, we had a couple doozies. 2 games went into overtime. I don't know the last time that happened. I should find out these stats before I just start spitballing them at you. But 2 of the divisional games went into overtime. Started with a great one, ended with a great one. Had a little bit of stink in between with the 49ers and Seahawks, and that Pats Texans game was not great quality-wise, but I'm very happy with the result. And, I'm not going to complain about a win, but the quality in that game was not of the highest order. However, Patriots move on. We have our final 4 teams. I think throughout the year, these are probably the 4 best teams that are playing in the final week of football. I think there's some arguments for a few other teams that could have been here, but you have the 1 and 2 seed in the AFC, and you have the 1 and the, or were they the 5 seed, the 6 seed in the NFC, and everybody kind of convinced themselves that the Rams were the second best team or the first best team in that conference, which I think is appropriate. And wow, I can't wait for Championship Sunday. I'll be on site witnessing hopefully the crowning achievement of the next king of New England as he gets the coronation into being the king, as he makes Super Bowl, as he plays in his first Tom Brady and Bill Belichick Invitational. So how about that? So without further ado, long intro, but very good day for the Patriots, very good day for the Rams, very good weekend for a lot of people on the Denver Broncos team and community, not Bo Nix. We're going to talk about that. And very good weekend, of course, for probably the best team that played all weekend was the Seattle Seahawks. So without further ado, here is Darren. How are you doing, Darren?
I'm good. We're just coming off of that Sunday night game with the Bears Rams. That was a hate watch for me personally, as I have taken up hating the Bears so far since, it's been pretty decent hating them. This is the first week of me actually really hating them. And you know what? I feel good.
Congratulations on having some newfound hate in your heart. I mean, it always feels good to have a new villain, a new foe
Yeah.
that you can hate on. I like finding that myself across
Right.
all sports. Uh, which one do you want to start with? Do you want to start with? I guess there's 3 things we could start with. There's 4 games. There's 4 things we could start with, but there's 3 real good opportunities to start. I think the Seahawks are kind of the lamest one to start with because it was just over before it started.
Yeah.
So we can start with that if you want, but that's not part of the 3. I would say we can start with the game we just watched. Caleb, Stafford, Rams, Bears. We could start with my Patriots, where I could just get the gloating out of the way. Or we could start with the game of the week, the surprise result of the week, and the Bo Nix news. Which would you like to choose?
Let's just go through order. Let's run through the weekend, starting Saturday afternoon. What do you say?
Yeah, why not? I actually recorded a podcast last night with our sometimes co-host now. He's been on a few times this year, Benny, and it was unusable because the audio was choppy, the video was terrible, and I was pretty intoxicated, I'll be honest. So I was like, I'm not going to even use this. And so I did a lot of these takes yesterday. These are going to be rehashed, but nobody's heard these that listen to this podcast except for Benny. So if he listens, he's going to be like, wait, you gave me these takes. Where am I? I've been replaced with this hunk? Well, Benny's a hunk too, so I got a couple of hunk co-hosts. I'm in a hunk sandwich. If Benny was to my right, you're to my left, right there. Yeah, let's talk about that one.
Do it.
I watched this game with a ton of Buffalo Bill fans and Denver Bronco fans at Buffalo Wild Wings, which was quite the atmosphere in our state capital of Olympia, Washington. You wouldn't expect it to get that feisty with Bill and Bronco fans, but wow. They were out in droves. So
Yeah. I caught the tail end of this game at a bar. I was trying to go to a sports bar funny enough, we'll talk about the Seahawks game. That was the one game I actually, like, went to a bar to go watch all weekend, and that was, like, the dud of the weekend, but I was getting in there to try to get seated a little bit early, and it was so packed. I was lucky we got a table when we did in there, and yeah, I was able to watch the end of this game, and that was a fantastic game. That was a great game. One of the best games in of the playoffs this year, probably.
Yeah, you had to say this year because these playoffs have been quite amazing, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't think we've had
I
many
know.
duds, which is great. That's why this keeps delivering. I'm gonna just start at the end real quick. I
Mhm,
gave up my seat because I was leaving to go home for the Seahawk and 49ers game, and there was a ton of people just waiting. So I was at a
mhm,
four top by myself because the person I was watching with had to go um,
mm.
at the end, which was funny because he missed overtime. Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm not endorsed by them. You know, I have my heart has been owned by Chili's for a long time. They got rid of all day happy hour on Saturdays and Sundays. It really felt like I got cheated on by them making that move. Buffalo Wild Wings has a special called the 2 minute warning, and when it's a 2 minute warning, everybody just goes. They just get beered up. $2 pints at the 2 minute warning. And I said,
Wow.
how many of these can I order? I was already closed out. I was like, how many can I order at the 2 minute warning? Can I just load up on six of these bad boys? They said, nope, only one. But it's every game. Every game at the 2 minute warning at the half as well.
Wow.
Um, but anyways, I just I just am very, very happy that we have football that is this good, this high quality. Even when teams are turning the ball over, like in this game, uh, let me just say at the end when I give the table up, okay, and I'm watching it basically outside the bathroom,
Mhm.
and this is after the interception, and we're going to talk about that. I don't think we're going to have a heated debate like Benny and I did about what a catch is, but that's part of the reason we didn't put the episode out. It was a 30-minute talk about the definition of catches and whatnot, and slowing down things to megapixel frames. But um, it was after that play and after Josh Allen's interception there in overtime and the PI. There was a father and a son, not a Holy Spirit, although it might have overtaken him because he was definitely feeling very, very immense sadness. After the PI was called on Tre'Davious White, he was standing up the whole game right by like a counter, basically. He just had his hand on the counter, like heart rate had to have been 172, I'm guessing. He was fueled off of beer and wings and cholesterol through the roof. I just can't imagine he felt good. Um, the game was over. The game was over, basically.
Yeah.
And he sits down as soon as the PI was called, and he just goes to his, I think he's a 7-year-old son. I can't imagine he's much older than that. And he goes, "Oh fuck." Oh fuck. I felt the dejection. The kid's like eyes are welling up. It's just him and his kid. Nobody else. It's just solo watching it with his son. And he's wearing a Josh Allen jersey. The kid, I think, had a Bill jersey on under a coat. I couldn't tell, but I'm just like, this is amazing. It's like a Tim Robinson sketch because oh fuck, it's like the and I wanted to console him, but I had a Patriots sweater on, so he punched me in the face, rightfully so, by the
Yeah.
way. Um, I started by saying that uh, you can't really complain about officiating if your quarterback turns the ball over four times,
Mhm.
and when we talk about the history of that game in the future, it's going to be on the context, not by, oh, you know, let's slow this game down to the slowest possible camera view. It's going to be judged on, looking at the game log, which is also not the best way to do it. But Josh Allen had the worst game of his one of the worst games he's ever had. I mean, that includes his rookie year when he was a bozo. That includes the second year when he made the playoffs and went back to his rookie year bozo mode. It was a bad
Mhm.
game by him, and he went hero mode, and he's done this before. And I feel bad for him because he was bawling on the not bawling out, he was crying on the press conference stand on the podium, and I felt bad because he does have the weight of a entire city that does not win anything on his shoulders. And they have so much history of heartbreak. They're clearly better as a franchise than the Cleveland Browns or or the Lions and the Vikings. Those are the 4 that are in this sphere, but they had the 4 straight Super Bowl losses. Josh Allen's the first quarterback to have 8 playoff wins before turning 30 and not have a Super Bowl. And most of those other guys that have multiple Super Bowls, and that's
Yeah.
in that time frame. It's not like they just have 8 wins. They usually have 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm gonna go over a whole bunch of stats here, like regurgitating things I saw on Twitter about like how improbable this is. But as for a game, a couple of those interceptions and things like that, they're great plays by the DBs, but the 2 that really are, or the one that's really jarring to me is the fumble at the end of the first half,
Mhm.
where he's just running with the ball out at his side like nothing can
Yeah.
happen bad, and it's stuff we've seen before from quarterbacks that are way worse than him, and
Yeah.
he's a veteran now in this league, and he can't have that happen, and he's facing off against a team that's pissing down their leg. They're throwing the ball 75% of dropbacks is Bo Nix just throwing it, and Bo Nix is having a terrible game. They're unwilling to run with Harvey against the Buffalo Bills defense that sucks at the run stop, just like the Jaguars last week. They have all the opportunities, and you have Allen here just basically letting the game slip away. And
Mhm.
I'm not blaming just him. There's a lot of other reasons. Of course, you could blame refs if you want, but I think at the end of it all, it's just a crazy circumstance that we're now entering his 30s and he's never even reached a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And my last point is this. I don't know how to frame this because people that listen to this podcast do not watch tennis. But there's a thing in tennis called the Lost Generation, and the Australian Open just started. The Lost Generation is basically all the tennis players in the 90s. Um, there's, I think, only Medvedev has won uh, Grand Slam that was born in the 90s of the men's. That's actually insane. That's the craziest stat. Like people don't care about tennis stats, whatever, because Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal won everything. And it's kind of like a lot of these Super Bowls have been gate kept because Brady kept playing, and then it was Mahomes,
Mhm.
and it feels like you look at these young quarterbacks, right? I was gonna have a better take if Caleb would have won tonight, if the Bears would have won, but you see how good Caleb is and how exciting he plays, and you see Drake May and you see Jaden Daniels when he is in next year. And it's like, it's clock's ticking on Lamar and clock's ticking on Josh Allen and clock's ticking on Burrow. He's a little younger, but clock's ticking on these guys where it's like, we're about to have a lost generation of quarterbacks where one of those guys will be Stafford and go to a new team later in their career and probably win something. I don't know
Yeah.
who. It probably will be Burrow, honestly. The statue guy will win because he's the guy that doesn't rely on athleticism. But God, it's crazy that Lamar and Allen, those 2 especially, who are, if you're just doing basic arm talent and ability-wise to throw the football and move their feet, the fact that they've never reached a Super Bowl,
I know.
it does not make any sense. Sorry for that super long, convoluted thing, but Darren, thoughts on the game, all that. We're gonna talk about the Bo Nix injury and stuff in a sec too, so we
Yeah.
could do that after.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you kinda hit the nail on the head. You can't blame the refs when you have but they had 5 turnovers as a team. James Cook fumble and then 4 Josh Allen turnovers. Like, you can't blame the refs. It was a miracle, and again, it's a testament to Josh Allen and just, like, how good he can be that they were even in this game at the end and forced overtime and all that. So, going forward, I don't know. I think McDermott has to be out of there at some point. You need to change something because you're not seeing any real results. Like you're winning a lot of regular season games, which is great and fine. But Josh Allen is the caliber player that like that's not good enough. You have to win a Super Bowl if you're Josh Allen. You have to. He's too good not to. And you're right. Like for him and Lamar are probably like the 2 that I'd like be most concerned about, like that athleticism fall off that is knocking on the door now. And it's not knocking on the door, but it's walking up the driveway. You know what I mean? Like it's right there. Not they're not young first, second, third year players anymore. Like they're seasoned veterans, and that athleticism only sticks with you for so long. And geez, the hits that Josh Allen was taking this entire pretty much the
Oh,
whole second half of the season, but the playoffs, the 2 games, he's knocking years off of his career. It's insane. I think I made the joke to you that, like, every big hit he takes, oh, that's 6 games shorter that he's gonna play. Like, it that's what makes him so special, and again, he's a great arm talent. He's fantastic. He's a super smart, good quarterback, but the thing that makes him impossible to play against is his ability to run people over and escape from pressure and do all these things. Basically Cam Newton, right? Like, you saw how fast Cam Newton lost it. Is just it happens. And
yeah,
he made 1 Super Bowl, that was it.
yeah. The I don't know how to. I don't even know. Like, there is the point that Brady harps on a lot, and a lot of these old QBs harp on it a lot, and it sounds like they're a lot of people take it as hate, like it's
Mhm.
them complaining about how football's played today, and I don't think it's really that. I think it actually is like, I mean, Josh Allen and Brady, I'm sure, are friends, right? They text each other. I don't think they're
Yeah.
like enemies. But
Yeah.
a lot of the quarterbacks now, um they don't process defenses, and
No.
it's more so reliant on, I'm just going to out athletic you. And I mean, we saw when Philip Rivers came back this year, just the simple processing made him better than probably 20 guys in the league. He
Yeah.
can't move, and he didn't have a good arm, but he knew, like, if a defender turned his hips one way, to just throw that ball. And
Mhm.
I feel like I feel like obviously Allen and Lamar are better than the average guy at processing defenses and understanding blitz schemes and whatnot, because they've started over 100 games each. But um, yeah, it's a lot of reliance on athleticism, and once
Mhm.
that pops, even a little, you never know if they can transition into that second phase of their career. Um, but that's a bad loss. Don't get it twisted. This is a
Yeah.
horrendous loss for a team that everybody knew this team wasn't good, and it's fine that they're not good. But what isn't fine is the fact that uh, what really isn't fine is the fact that people are just expecting like this is a given every year. I mean, we're in a playoffs right now where all the people I just mentioned besides Josh Allen didn't even make it. And
Mhm.
he it's not going to be promised to get back there. I mean, you just look at how things are stacked. There's going to be new teams every year, and uh yeah, if you fire the coach, you fire the coach. I don't know who you replace him with. I think it's been time for him to go for quite a while. I think that's why
Yeah.
he's complaining about those calls so badly. And I mean, we could talk about that right now. Um, what a catch is, what it isn't. But uh, I mean, these are some just quick stats, just quick things, and then we'll say the catch thing, and then we'll talk about the Broncos pretty much. Ready?
Yeah.
QBs Josh Allen has beaten in the playoffs. He beat Lamar last year. That's the most
Mhm.
impressive by far. Lamar's incredible. Lamar played incredible in that game, and they won. 2020, Philip Rivers was who he beat. Philip Rivers in 2020. That was when into the line. He beat Mac Jones in that blowout win at home on Sunday Night Football. I'll never
Mhm.
forget that game. That was a very, very that was actually an easy moment for a Patriot fan to embrace, because that's kind of when it was his rookie year, and I kind of had the inkling that he wasn't the guy after that, of how quickly that game was over. Um, he beat Skylar Thompson in a legit duel where he turned the ball over a ton and almost lost the game.
Um,
He beat Mason Rudolph. I do not remember that game whatsoever, the Steelers game where he beat Mason Rudolph. He beat
mhm.
Bo Nix last year in a blowout. They killed the Broncos last year. And he beat Trevor Lawrence last week. So those are his playoff wins.
Yeah.
What's missing on there outside of Lamar? I mean, Lamar's good, so I guess there's not non-Hall of Famers missing, but that's a lot of mediocrity. And he's got, I think, 8 playoff wins. Like I said, I think 7 of them are on. Um, s- I think 7 or 6 of them are on Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah.
That's not great. Um, these are just some other things in that game. Allen on 20 plus air yard passes was 0 for 9 with 2 interceptions,
Yeah. Not great.
including a terrible one. Not the one that what is a catch. It was one where he just didn't see. I don't even know if he saw either of the secondary players, either of the DBs, the safety or the guy underneath. Because I watched the replay and I'm like, he must have just not seen the safety. Well, I think he threw it. I think he threw it to where either of the guys could have got it, but his receiver
Yeah.
couldn't. Um,
So
I'm
quick,
just,
quick aside,
yeah.
really quick. They clearly need another wide receiver. Who do you think they're going to go after? Who do you think is somebody that they're going to eyeball? Because I have a name that's not like a super hot product, but he's a good receiver. He's from my beloved Green Bay Packers, Romeo Doubs, who is a free agent.
Well, they have no money this offseason. They're top 51. They're already 3 million over the cap, so they're gonna have to cut
Yeah.
um next year. So there's places where they can get off of people. I'm looking at it right now. Um, they can cut Deion Dawkins. I don't think they will. They'll cut Ed Oliver. He's at a $23 million cap number, so that would be off the books.
Yeah, he didn't even play
Uh,
this year either.
but they would have 21 million in dead money, but they'd save 2 million. So I actually don't know if they'll cut him because now I'm looking at this. I don't know what they're gonna do actually. Now that I think about this, it's gonna be hard for them to make many moves.
They're going to have to like restructure some contracts. The cap is fake. It's always, they can
Yeah.
always seem to manage stuff around it, especially in the off season. But I'd keep an eye on them going after like a Romeo Doubs because I don't think that they're going to get AJ Brown or something like that.
Oh yeah, they can extend some people too. I don't know. They're gonna be Dobbs would be hard to get, honestly, just based off of that. I think the cap is usually fake, but Dobbs would be a hard guy to get. And I don't think that's a guy that they need. I think he's a Khalil Shakir 2.0. So you just have a bunch of Shakir like guys running around out there. He's better than Shakir, but it's like
Yeah.
they need a big body receiver. That's what they wanted
Yeah.
Keon Coleman to be. He's obviously just doesn't have hands. And I think everybody's gonna talk about AJ Brown being traded. He's clearly gonna get traded. I don't know who to. Everybody's gonna talk about Justin Jefferson. I don't know what his trade market's gonna be massive to where I don't know who's gonna get him. But
Yeah.
if he gets traded, Jordan Addison is in legal trouble again, but it's gonna be him or Jefferson will get traded. I mean,
Yeah.
Hig- Higgins has to be potentially on the market, I think, or like I don't know how the Bengals can justify going back in. So all these people are going to be on the market, but you got to look at who's going to be trading, what teams have cap, all this stuff, and I think that is where
Yeah.
I don't know who they get. I honestly don't have an idea about what they're going to do.
Because they have to do something. They're going to move off. They got to move off their coach, and they need a little bit more offensive firepower. So sorry,
Yeah.
quick. That was my small aside on.
No. The other two things that I just wanted to read was the Bills in the last 5 playoffs. They blew a fourth quarter lead at Denver, fourth quarter lead at KC, fourth quarter lead versus KC, blown out by Cincy at home, blew a fourth quarter lead at KC. That's the last 5. And then the other thing, and this is the most damning about Josh Allen, and this is Josh Allen's had the ball in his hands to win or tie the game in the final game of the season for the past 3 years, and the Bills lost all of them. He's 0-7 now in overtime games. It's incomprehensible, and people will make up well, that should have been ruled a catch by Brandon Cooks, and I just think that
Not a
going
catch.
through going through that entire thing over and over and over again and seeing every single still shot and image, and you could do still shots of any play and it
Yeah,
could be a catch at any time. I mean, you have to I don't care about what a picture looks like unless it's a
I
picture
agree.
of like pregame where the players look cool. That's my background's a picture of Drake May right now,
Yeah,
looking handsome.
I think
But
a perfect kind of end to that conversation was the Devonte Adams one across the middle earlier
today,
in the game today. Yes,
yeah.
when Devonte Adams got hit going across the middle, he clearly had the ball, squeezed it, went to the ground. His knee was on the ground, and then the defender ripped the ball away at the end. That to me was a clear catch. The Brandon Cooks one, he didn't secure the ball. We didn't see a single, even a single image where you could be like, oh yeah, that ball is like not moving and it's secured against his body. When he caught it, when it was in his arms, it was bounced off of his helmet. He never had like a grip on the football. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not I'm not one to I don't know the very definition of what a catch is, what a catch isn't, but I will say this, that I think you can watch a football game, and I think that's the best verdict is what you actually see live. Because again,
mhm.
watching it there at Buffalo Wild Wings, it wasn't like the Bills fans were like, "That's a catch, that's a catch." It all came from
Mhm.
on Twitter. It all
Yeah,
came from Bills fans that are just deeply entrenched online. This was not a Des Bryant situation
it's
where
because they
Des,
lost. If
yeah,
they would have
yeah,
won, they wouldn't
yeah,
care. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, that wasn't a catch."
yeah. And yeah, the big debates about the catches, like I mean, Dez, I think everybody would say he caught the ball. They changed the rules after that because to survive the ground and stuff was too it was too open for interpretation. But
Yeah.
basically what it is they say football move, they say they use these types of terms where I think the Devontae Adams one, if they would have called that an interception on the field, it would have stood as an interception, but they called it a catch, and it looked way more like he actually came down to it, and he was just like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm down." He got jacked up a little bit, so maybe you could say, well, he was
Yeah.
injured, and that's the same thing with Brandon Cooks, and you might want to make that argument. But the whole thing was, I watched that play. I was actually on the phone with you, and I was like, "Wow, what a throw! That was a great throw by Josh Allen." And I was like, "Oh, it got picked off because that was a great play by the DB. We should celebrate the amazing play
Mhm.
by the DB." But can you imagine if you don't allow DBs to make plays like that, what you do
Yeah.
is you basically just stop allowing defense. They should be playing with 10 people on the field. And with they can't blitz the quarterback. You have to do 5 Mississippi before you rush the quarterback. Stuff like that because you're just going to make it impossible to stop offenses if you're saying bang bang plays,
Yeah.
always go to the offense. Defenses can't get the ball when there's been no possession. You're gonna make it impossible for a DB to ever play. QB should
Mhm.
only throw contested jump balls. That's all they should throw if that's how
Yeah.
we wanna adjudicate this stuff. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, for the Broncos, right? Again, we're only talking about 4 teams here. We could do where did this team go from here while we talk about them. So that's what we're gonna say they go from here. The Bills have a lot of questions. I mean, I think a
Mhm.
new coach is needed. I honestly don't know how long Josh Allen wants to stay there because this is start. He signed a new contract. He obviously loves Buffalo, but at some point you got to feel cursed with this franchise.
Yeah.
There's like legit some shaman curses on that franchise with how many bad losses they've had and crazy losses and insane defeats and yeah. So I'm gonna let that one rest. I I I would be I don't know. I would be actually like depleted if I was a Bills fan. I would be feeling like
Mhm.
I would start donating like start looking at how I can be a better person. I am an organ donor. I was saying what else can I do? I would start looking how to donate money to charitable foundations that do great work. And that
Yeah.
Josh Allen does. He probably needs the rest of the team to start stepping up because Josh Allen's a very good person. Um the the big story of this game, the fallout of it is Bo Nix being out. We haven't talked a single word about the Broncos' performance, anything from them. They're the team playing next week. They're the team that moves on. Everybody's counting them out. They have Jared Stidham playing in the AFC Championship game.
Mhm.
A former jersey owned by yours truly, a Patriots number 4 Jared Stidham jersey was purchased in by yours truly, and
Yeah.
never worn proudly, actually. I don't think I ever wore that jersey. I got it in the
Why'd you
mail
get it?
after he had a really good preseason game, week 3,
Mm.
in the year Cam Newton was our starter,
It was an
the
investment
Pats starter.
jersey.
Yeah, I thought he was the future. That I don't know what his stat line was. I'm gonna look this up while you give me your
Yeah.
prognostication about what they do in this game and how and where they go from here basically into next
Yeah.
week. But I need to find that stat line. Okay,
Yeah.
give me your take.
The Broncos, they're obviously extremely probably disheartened and upset by the fallout of the game with Bo Nix having a broken ankle and having surgery to end his season. Their defense is good. I don't know if it's as good as advertised though. They forced some turnovers. A lot of those turnovers though were like boneheaded mistakes by Josh Allen. It was different than it's not like he's getting strip sacked from behind, like, or throwing, passes and being baited into like these bad throws. It was just kind of like errant throws, being sloppy with the ball. I just don't know how good this defense actually is. I'm sure they're gonna go, you know, the route of, hey, back against the wall. No, everyone's counting us out. We believe in us. We're all we need. We're gonna lean on ourselves, and we're gonna fight like hell to beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship. But man, I don't know. That's tough. It's a tough way because it feels like their season's over, but it's not. They still have another games because they lost their starting quarterback. And I'm not the biggest Bo Nix guy. I think he's fine. I don't think he's great. I think he is a quarterback who is actually somewhat replaceable. I don't know if Jared Stidham can be that guy, but I think like a quality or a mid-tier backup, you would probably still be okay. But again, this is the AFC Championship. This is second biggest game of the season. So outside of the
Yeah,
Super
I
Bowl.
mean, I think that it's to me, it's gonna be tough for them to win, and are a lot of people are trying to do the well, Stidham's not that much of a downgrade from Bo Nix, and it's like, stop that, please. I mean, they
Yeah.
can definitely win this game if that, like you said, I think the defense is a little overrated, but their defense is really good.
It is
We've
good
seen
still.
we've seen backup quarterbacks perform well in moments that don't have this much pressure on them. The last quarterback to make their debut start, this is his first career start, I think it is. I don't think he's ever started a game in his career. I think he's played in games, but I don't think he's ever started a game. The last
Wow.
quarterback to
Wow.
make his first career start in a conference championship game was actually, I mean, this is good news from Roger Staubach. But Roger Staubach in
Mm.
that conference championship game got absolutely obliterated. I think it was in the 1970s. It was not a good performance. Now, it was a great career, and this might be the start of something special, but uh, who knows? I actually do think Jared Stidham has some ability. Um, he's not a bad backup per se. He's found a way to stay in this league since 2019, bouncing around a few spots, but uh, it's going to be really tough for him to be successful against this Patriots defense. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find his preseason stats still. It's they take those down after the game. They don't want anybody to see them.
So I know
Um,
we're not talking bets right now, but that line has already moved to 5.5.
yeah. Um, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that real? It's moved
Yeah.
up that way? Okay. Yeah, I mean that's gonna keep going up probably. I don't know where it's gonna end to where I'd be upset for it. Um, I need to I mean, I don't think I'm gonna bet anymore on that game just because yeah, we'll see. Oh, yeah, here's Stidham, okay. Stidham, when he was a rookie, he, his passer rating each of these games, week 1, 95.7, week 2, 123.4, week 3, 96, week 4, 98.1. That's when they played 4, preseason games. But yeah, he was really good this year in the preseason, by the way, too. He's 30 for 39 in pass attempts. So, I mean, very efficient, but he's playing against the 2s and the 3s. Um, yeah, the thing with Stidham, I saw a tweet where I don't like that I'm just bringing up my phone and bringing up Twitter all the time, but this is important. It was basically trying to relate Stidham and Nick Foles because that's where they're going to really come to with backup quarterbacks doing well. I guess the better one would probably be Peyton Manning in 2016 when the Broncos won the Super Bowl because Peyton got benched halfway through. Peyton's a legend though in the game. He just was really bad in that year. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl. However, uh, and that Broncos defense is an all-timer, though, which I think those are 2 distinct differences.
Yeah.
The Nick
Again,
Foles
that defense
different
was
yeah,
incredible. This Broncos defense is good. They're
yeah,
good defense. I would not say they're an all-time defense. They're not even the
yeah.
best defense in the NFL this year.
I don't think they're the best defense in this game. How about that? Playing this
That's a
weekend.
take. It's not a bad take.
Yeah. Um, and the big point that I'm looking at is Stidham's career stats, I think he has 8 touchdowns, 8 picks in the NFL. I think he's thrown about 300 passes, uh, or maybe even less. I think 200 passes. He hasn't played enough to where we can have an opinion on if he's good or not. Um, Nick Foles, the guy that everybody's compare him to, played on an Eagles team that was unbelievable, just filled with talent, and he was coming off 2 years before that, pretty much being an MVP candidate, where his TD to interception ratio was like 60-20. It's 3-1. He won games. He was
That's
a
good.
Pro Bowl player, and that's not to say that Stidham can win a game, like I said. I do think that that's very possible. I don't want to overplay that the Patriots are for sure to get into the Super Bowl, but I think that that's where it's like we need to slow the roll on what we think he can be and what we think it's possible. The real truth here is I believe that if the player props are going to come out and it's going to show Stidham pass attempts, and it's going to be like 18 and a half pass attempts. And they're going to try to run the hell out of the ball. They're going to do trick plays, and that's going to be their path to victory. But
Mhm.
for Bo Nix, it's terrible. It's an awful like into a season. I think anybody celebrating this is stupid. It's not nice. It's not fun. I think it's the you you're now the pressure's on New England. And I said this yesterday when we tried to do the podcast. The pressure would be on the Texans if they won. You go into a game where it was whoever won today, and you'd play against Denver or um you play against Denver, and if you're playing against Bo Nix, it's like, well, you're playing against the 1 seed on the road. You still want to win, but there's no harm in losing that game. Now all the pressure's on you to where it's like, if you lose to Jared Stidham in the conference championship, that's a very embarrassing loss. Even if that defense is otherworldly and has a great performance, you got to beat the
Yeah.
bad quarterback, you know. So
Mhm.
pressure does swing a little, but I also just feel bad for Bo Nix because I feel like Bo Nix, honestly, he doesn't deserve not to play in this game. He earned the right to play in this. He gets hurt on a
Right.
wacky ass into the game play where it's like, uh, I don't know when he got hurt. They keep saying it was the play before the kneel down. I thought it was the kneel down, but I don't know when it actually happened. And hopefully he comes back next year and he's good because I
Yeah.
think people that are happy that they don't have to play the best version of a team. Uh, I don't know. I think it's like you don't want to play Stidham. You'd rather play Bo Nix if
Yeah.
you're this hurts the argument if you're the Patriots, like especially that it's like, well, easy schedule. And I mean they're gonna easy schedule their way into maybe a Super Bowl championship. But the truth of the matter is you do wanna play a good team. You don't wanna just cake or cupcake your way into it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens in this. It's gonna be interesting. I will be at this game, by the way. So on site. I'm going to witness a former Patriot great and a current Patriot great duke it out.
Yeah. Duking it out.
How about that?
Yeah. Love it.
Moving on, or do you have anything else to
Yeah,
say about the
moving on.
Broncos?
That's all I got.
Seahawks Rams or Seahawks 49ers. Yep, moving on. I'm just kidding. This one will be brief. I mean, the Seahawks shellacked them. Very, very
Yeah.
impressive. Just total. People in the stadium could have left after the opening kickoff because they won. They
Yeah.
49ers scored 6 points, and that opening kickoff return was 7 with the PAT. So, yeah,
Yeah.
game was over about 15 seconds in.
However far it takes Rashid Shaheed to run from one end zone to the other.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh,
I
that
mean, this is a
kicker,
scary team.
on the slide tackle attempt that he had, instead of actually just going to try to actually tackle him on the kickoff, that was very funny. It's like, dude.
That was
Uh,
good.
I know if
I
you
th-
trip him, you take the 15 yards, obviously, every time over, like, a kick return, but just dive and make a tackle attempt. It's so funny. The only things I have from this game are, obviously, the 49ers are very injured, but additionally, on top of that, I I know there's a little bit of it before the game and also after. The the way the 49ers are talking about their teammates who are filling in for these roles of their injured players, it's like, dude, do you have no faith in these guys? Like, I know, uh, Trent Williams was, talking about, "Yeah, we lost the best tight end in the world, and, when you're signing guys off the street or off a practice squad, you have to kind of temper your expectations a little bit. I'm like, dude, you're saying that about your teammates that are playing just as hard as anybody else is. And obviously, everybody knows you're not George Kittle, so you're in an impossible situation where unless you come out and you are actually like have a phenomenal game, yeah, people are gonna be like, well, we were injured and we didn't have our best players, or you're filling in for Fred Warner. Oh, great. And I gotta fill in for a Hall of Fame linebacker. Awesome, dude. This is sick. Like, of course, these guys know that. And it's like when you talk about it like that, how are they supposed to have any confidence in going in and playing competently when before the game even starts, you're talking about how, hey, we got to temper our expectation. These guys stink, okay?
Do you want to know something about Trent Williams real quick? Is he's
Yeah.
been asked to now. He's old and washed up, and he's been playing terribly. And he does
Yeah.
this song and dance about like, well, you know, it's hard for us. He gave up like 8 pressures in the game against the Eagles the week before. He was the
Yeah.
worst player on the field. He
Mhm.
himself almost lost that game for San Francisco. He would have been the reason they lost. He kept getting blasted through. Um, he's supposed to be the best. He's a Hall of Famer, but you know, Philip
Mhm.
Rivers is apparently a Hall of Famer too. There's a lot of Peyton Manning's a Hall of Famer. At the end of the career, you know, you see a lot of,
Mhm.
and he's just slow and not as strong anymore. I don't think he's been in the weight room for a while.
Yeah.
It's he has dad strength, but he doesn't have like offensive tackle strength is the problem. I don't know. I
Offensive
watched
tackle.
their hype video this morning before the before the football started today. It was hilarious. It was actually like laugh out loud funny because it sounded like circus music.
Yeah.
It was like a rap beat, but it was not a good one. They chose the
Yeah.
wrong one. And
Yeah.
their hype man was I don't know who it was like a DB. He's like, well, we're gonna have fun out there. It's like, geez, Louise.
Uh,
And
yeah. Going into this game, I I don't know. I expected more fight from like a 49ers team that has really battled pretty hard all year despite having all these injuries. And it felt like they just folded going into this game. And it was very funny the way they talked about their teammates and again, even the hype video. Hey, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna have fun. Let's have fun. Let's have a day. Like it's like the typical coach speech. Shanahan's in there. Hey guys, they bleed blood too. They put their cleats on just the same way we do. No matter what happens out there, just know I'm proud of you guys.
no, I know. It's asinine because I I don't know, dude. I'm just I'm perplexed at it.
Mhm.
Um I'm trying to text about the seat that I got for this for the game this
Yeah.
weekend. But that was a funny game.
It was a funny game, and I actually think the 49ers need to fire their entire medical staff and strength training staff. They need to, like they're in a great area for with, like, in California with great, great medical teams and schools and colleges. You need to go out and you need to find the smartest people around that come with ligament like that can help design programs to prevent knee and ankle injuries. Cause man, oh man, it's absurd.
There's a doctor on Twitter. I don't know if he's serious or if he's RFK. I have no idea, but he's been tweeting about how he's now taking clients and they basically do MRIs on Achilles every year, and it's like athletes are doing it. And if they have scar tissue or anything like that, they can instead of having to tear your Achilles and do a 9-month surgery, they can. I don't think they scope it out, but they're basically able to prevent Achilles injuries. Now that sounds like pseudoscience and quack medicine for what it's worth, because I don't think it's been uh, really studied. But he's a serious NFL Twitter doctor. I've seen him all over, and I believe that he has these clients. I don't know if they've proven to not tear their Achilles or anything, but I would be taking all the precautions too. Yeah, I mean, if
Like
especially if you're in
preventative
your
Tommy
30s.
Johns. You
Yeah,
just
oh
go in
yeah,
there and
I'm
get your
preventative.
acutely reinforced.
Yeah, but he tears them on accident. He's all like, "Well, you're gonna be out for the next year," and then the team's like, "What the fuck happened to you?"
He
Like,
he get
yeah,
he
it's the
he
doctor.
messes up both of his Achilles. The guy just can't walk.
Because both he has 2 peg legs,
Yeah.
like a dual pirate. Um, no,
You
I
know,
mean, the
people get
electric
their you know, people
that
get their
electric flu
spine
thing.
fused where they can't move it. He just does that with their ankle.
I'm just imagining McCaffrey have, like, Forrest Gump legs. Next year, it comes into camp, he's like, "Yeah, I got my Achilles, like, strengthened up." Jesus.
Can't bend his foot at all.
Yeah, I can't feel my foot anymore, but I will not tear my Achilles. I don't know,
Uh,
I think this season for the 49ers was both a success and also, you get to the point where your roster is good and you want to win something and you feel bad because you come up short yet again, and your roster's getting older. They find talent well, they draft talent well, but it's just hard. It's hard to see where they actually can improve, and it feels like they might. I don't know. I don't know how this league works in the ways that it does. It's the ultimate parity league, as we always say. But the Seahawks team looks so good that it feels like, wow, what are they supposed to do to get better than the Seahawks in the next year or two or three, with their window being what it is? It's really hard for me to see a place where the 49ers are just going to be this like this this championship contender. I mean, they had the easiest schedule in the league coming into the year, and that's why a
mhm.
lot of people had them winning the division. They played really well. They played up to their talent. They had injuries throughout, like we said. They need to move their practice facility, like you said. But all this stuff can be true, and it's also like, where do they go from here? I don't know. They're going to trade Ayuk. That was probably one of the worst contracts in the history of sports given out, where they
Yeah.
were looking to trade him. He was looking to sign elsewhere. He clearly wanted to leave. The Steelers wouldn't give him the money that he wanted. He did not want to come to New England. And so they're all like, fuck it, we'll give you a 5-year deal. It's over in a year. I don't know how they're going to be able to finagle their way out. Again, cap's a joke, but they
Yeah. I don't understand, like, what I guess I need to do a little bit more research on it. Does he just not wanna play? Because I know he got
I
hurt
think
too.
he and Shanahan hate each other. I think that's the thing. I don't think they vibe.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't like Kyle Shanahan. I mean, when he
Didn't
was
he
driving
post an
100 miles per
Instagram
hour, but
video of him driving insanely fast by, like, their stadium on, like, a
yeah,
side
it's not on the
street?
freeway either. Yeah, it's not on the
Yeah, I know.
freeway. He's going like 120 or something. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like the police should be able to give you a ticket for that. Like, they should be able to just send you a
Mm.
ticket in the mail, say, "Yeah, reckless driving," and that's actually a gross misdemeanor. You're gonna have to face possible jail time. Obviously, you won't go to
Yeah.
jail, but it's like
The the 49ers should
you're getting
use that as
fined $10,000.
leverage to be out of the
Yeah, they
contract
should try
with,
to
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something.
For Seattle, I mean, again, we talked a lot about the loser before we even mentioned the winner. They played this game perfect.
Mhm.
This was this is a reminiscent to them winning the Super Bowl, over a decade ago now, which makes no sense to me. I hate time, but
I know.
it's been that long, and it just reminds me of that game because it started with a touchdown return, then a mistake by the Broncos. It was a mistake on the second drive by the 49ers here, but it was just a game where the big concerns was Darnold's injury. I think he only
Mhm.
attempted 17 or 18 passes. He did get hit a bit too much, especially at the end of the game when it was a blowout. I was like, take him
Yeah.
out. It's okay to bring in Drew Lock, but he didn't attempt many passes. They kept the ball on the ground. They played no, like, they did not look like they were shaky at all. They did not look like they had rested for 2 weeks or whatever. It was a team that, and that's a characteristic of a really well-coached team, more so than anything else, that stays prepared and ready, that wanted to just beat the shit out of their rival, and, this is what should have happened in week 18, and in fact, like, I looked at the game log after, the first downs, the plays, the total yards, all that stuff was actually relatively close in this game. The score was not. In the last game they played, all that stuff was huge advantage Seattle, and the score was close. So
Yeah.
maybe nothing means anything anymore.
I
You
guess
thought
not.
thought of that?
Yeah, I mean, also at the end of the game, the the Seahawks had backup players in. There was a little bit of, some garbage time yards and first downs and stuff, but uh, Seattle looks like a monster. Like they look so good. Again, outside of literally their only like weakness is going to be, is Sam Darnold going to screw this up? If he can just be a game manager, and people use that as like a negative term, but I don't think that it's really that bad of like a thing. Just play good, mistake-free football, and like that's more than enough to win Super Bowls on most teams. You don't have to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or even Caleb Williams this year of like making these heroic plays at the end of games. Like you don't need to do that. If you can just simply not screw up, that in itself is a superpower of its own. And that was Brady. Brady is like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I'm gonna make the right play and I'm gonna beat you. Like I'm gonna win every single time. I know more. I know exactly what you're doing before you even know what you're doing, probably. And that was his superpowers. He was so smart, and obviously his longevity and stuff too. But that's what Sam Darnold needs to
Had a
be.
lot of
He
powers.
doesn't need. What's that? Yeah, he did have a
I
lot
said
of
he had a lot of
superpowers.
powers, Brady, honestly. Like, he's
Yeah,
unbelievable. I don't understand, but keep
yeah,
going. Sorry, Andrew.
yeah. No, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold needs to be Tom Brady. That's not that's not what I'm saying here. He needs to play mistake-free football and not screw this up because this defense is fantastic. That's my entire point.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking defense wins championships. That's been the history of this sport. And
Mhm.
I really think in these final four teams, we have the three of the four best defenses in football when healthy, and the Rams.
Mhm.
Those and I think the fourth best defense, which I think is the best, is Houston's. I think Houston,
Mhm.
Seattle 1A, 1B. I think Broncos probably are the third, and I think New England's the fourth. Um, Arguments can be
Yeah.
made about some other teams. The Browns had a good defense. Atlanta had a good defense. Um, but you had to have a full combo team. The point is though, it's like Seattle's defense. My concern is more than Darnold. Darnold's obviously the scary thing because he's just
Mhm.
not done it in big moments, and he has these moments of being bad in big moments. I do think Seattle's defense is great within scheme when you can when you could shake them a little bit, and we saw that with Stafford at multiple times this year if you're a good quarterback. Because Mike McDonald, he's a phenomenal coach, but he is very married to his scheme. And we saw that with
Yeah.
Baltimore when they played the Chiefs and how Mahomes you're right. The great quarterbacks are able to do this. They don't make mistakes and they make you play on their terms. And I do think Seattle's going to win next week, just for what it's worth. That's just going to be my prediction going in. I think the Rams are too banged up. I think Stafford's too hurt. But um, even in that game, Stafford diagnoses a defense and sees what you're playing, and he knows what you're in, and you can't confuse him. And I think that's how a lot of the great quarterbacks are able to do it. They get you in the deep water, and they hold you under there. And I do think that they just might be in too injured of a team, and they might have peaked too early. But for the Seahawks, this isn't a 1 year thing. They struck gold with this coach. This guy is phenomenal. This team can build from here. It's not like they're
Mhm.
old. It's not like they don't have the means to get better. And they're going to be the favorites to win the Super Bowl. If they beat the Rams, whoever they play in the Super Bowl, whether it's Stidham and the Broncos or my beloved hopeful King Drake May, they'll be the favorite in that game. And I mean, we'll see how that will play out eventually. But I'm saying I don't think this is their final form or the best they're going to look. And
Mhm.
that's to say, we're getting a lot of reminiscence of the Legion of Boom, uh, where they aren't really built from their secondary, but they do have good DBs. They're built from their front. And the Legion of Boom, they get their obvious, like, their bona fides from that secondary of Cam Chancellor, of Sherman, of Earl Thomas. And by the way, Earl Thomas, I don't know if you've seen his social media recently. He is whacked out. But I feel bad for him. And then, like, it's not, I don't know what's going on. He types one word per line. So it's a DBs are supposed to do that, though. I'm okay with my DBs going crazy. But the point is, and then Brandon Browner, of course. But they also had a great front seven. And especially in the linebacker room, right? They had Wright,
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, the random guy that won Super Bowl MVP that is worth a trivia that nobody remembers unless you're a Seahawks fan, and I can't even remember his name.
Cliff Averill?
Malcolm. Nope. Cliff Averill was a D end or a D like a
Oh, yeah.
whatever. Was he a D end? D tack?
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
Malcolm Smith. Is that his name? Malcolm Smith?
Sounds right, yeah.
I think it was Malcolm something. Malcolm Wright? No, it's KJ Wright. I don't know. Malcolm Smith, I think. I'm gonna go with that. But their front with Bennett, Michael Bennett was phenomenal, and he's probably the most underrated defensive end, probably in modern history. Like I don't think he's gonna make the Hall of Fame, but can you think of a more underrated defensive end than Michael Bennett? Like I really don't think I can. He was so good, but
Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith, did I get that right? What did I say?
Yep.
I said that right.
I think that's what he
Look at
said, yeah.
that. You know what?
Good pull.
Sometimes I impress myself with the things I remember that mean nothing. The pointless information I know. I don't like it. You know what I should learn how to do? I should learn how to make money. Um,
Yeah.
um, the the thing is though, this defense is built in a lot of the same ways, and I do think that they're going to be able to continue to add to it. And when you have JSN, who's better than any receiver that Seahawks iteration had, and I think it's going to be just continuous like success for the next few years, and this is like turning into something good. Now I don't know if Darnold's going to win Super Bowls plural, Super Bowl singular, or what they're going to do at the quarterback position if he actually does screw up in big moments. And because it's not a long deal, he's still really young though. You know, they have options. They actually have options. And so, but
Yeah.
this for this game in particular, this was a great great win. You hope Charbonnet's okay. That was the one thing that happened here where he got his he got an MRI on his knee. I think he's getting it tomorrow. Um, they said they don't think any structural damage is happened. That's still worrisome because if they couldn't do it last night, that means there was swelling, and so he probably
Mhm.
misses the Rams game regardless because that's just a knee sprain.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, but he would be back for a potential Super Bowl, I think, if it's not a strained MCL, PCL, ACL, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So move on or keep going on that.
No, I'm good. I covered my bases.
Okay, 1 hour in, and we're going to talk about Patriots Texans.
Love it.
That game, the Patriots Texans. I said during that game, I wish I had a different vice than loving sports. And I think I've said this point before, like, why can't we just be fans of um like music, like indie music or books, things like
Yeah.
that. That I mean, books can make you emotional, I guess, if you really get into them. But the thing is, this is the biggest high low there is where
Mhm.
I'm very happy that the Patriots are back and successful. And it was a beautiful thing to see them get back into the AFC Championship game after so many years away. And you don't feel like it's that many years until you start reminiscing and looking at memories on Snapchat and Instagram and all that and Facebook. And it's like, wow, Jarvis, delete that. But the the thing that was interesting was um just thinking about like how different this team is, but still how many glue guys that the Patriots have that just are like Patriots that would be on any of these teams. Marcus Jones is such a Patriots player. Like he's the punt returner that has the highest average punt return distance in
Mhm.
NFL history, I think. He also got the pick six. He's a phenomenal
Yeah.
slot corner. Uh, the defense, nobody talked about the defense in any of their analysis during leading up to this game on any of these national broadcast shows, including ESPN, who I respect a lot of their people on there, especially Mina Kimes. Like I think she's one of the best, and she did not talk enough about the defense. Um, they've been the best defense in these playoffs through the two games. The
Yeah.
Seahawks are only played one game, so I can't put them there. But through two games, they've given up one touchdown through two games.
It's pretty
That's
absurd.
not, yeah. And obviously, you're gonna talk about, and we're gonna talk about CJ Stroud imploding, especially in that first half. But they're giving up like they aren't allowing any rushing success whatsoever at all. Milton Williams he's not Aaron Donald, but he is playing as close to Aaron Donald as any defensive tackle I've seen since Aaron Donald. He's a complete game changer. He's getting through double
Mhm.
teams. He's plugging every single hole, and he's just a completely different level of player. They disguise coverages to where this is where I would be concerned if I was Seattle in a potential matchup where I would be scared about Darnold trying to read what they're doing. Because you hear what Herbert said and what the Chargers said last week. And I'm going to just go out on a limb and guess that CJ Stroud did not know what the Patriots were doing 90% of those snaps because of how he was playing today. And
I sure hope not.
yeah, that was horrendous. We're going to talk about
If
we could start with the
if he knew
Texans.
what coverage they were in and he played like this, let's hope he was confused.
Yeah, that was incredible. Um, yeah, the defense is the MVP of these first two games for the Patriots team, and I think that if they're healthy, they're as good as any unit that's left. And I mean, the Texans defense, I can't say enough. This was the first team to give May a negative EPA in a game, and Will Anderson, I think he's not Myles Garrett, but he's the closest thing to him pretty much. Like he
Mhm,
was just absolutely destroying Will Campbell today.
mhm,
And honestly, the only person that has done that to Will Campbell, it's been two players have just given Will Campbell a terrible game. It was Myles Garrett who had 5 sacks in a game, and in his first career pro game, Max Crosby. And I remember watching a video on Twitter of uh, Max Crosby and another D end on the Raiders warming up, and it's before a game, and I don't know how hard the other guy's going, but Max Crosby was going 100%, and it was his get off, like just his jump immediately when he's like going to hit
mhm.
the pad, and it's like I couldn't imagine that. Of course, like I'm a short little guy, but like he's
Yeah,
6'6", and he's just like moving at. He's legitimately like a panther, like
yeah.
attacking prey, and that's what Will Anderson is. Will Anderson is an actual monster, and um, you got to think about what this Houston Texans team does moving forward before we just finish on the Patriots, because I think you have a defense here that is it's again we do do a lot of overcompensating or calling things the greatest thing we've ever seen. This is the best thing since all that stuff. This defense is great. They are not the greatest defense since the Ravens or nothing like that because they have good pass rushers. They have pretty good linebackers and they have good corners. I don't know
Mhm.
their safeties. I'm going to be honest. I do not know their safeties. So that tells me one thing: it's not the greatest defense that I've seen since the Ravens or the
Yeah.
Seahawks or the Broncos or any of these units that we're going to name. The Bucks
Their
probably that
front their
invented the
front
Tampa 2.
7 their front 7 is fantastic though. And I mean their corners are okay. They play a little handsy. They do have like a tendency to commit a little bit of pass interference and stuff. Like they're prone to that because they do play such like a physical brand. Their front 7 is insane. And again, just the way they hit people with so much violence is awesome. That's like the best thing about this defense. You know, Will Anderson, LeBron James' son, his illegitimate son. Um, he's awesome to watch because his get off is like lightning speed. And I don't understand how these guys can be 6'5", 6'6", 250 pounds, and like they move like gazelles, or they change directions like they're like like small people. It's like, how you're that's 250 plus pounds going upfield, and then all of a sudden you stop on a dime and spin back underneath, or you dip down and go to like a 45-degree angle and bend around the corner. It's absurd the way they do it. I could not imagine trying to be an offensive lineman and blocking that, because these guys are freaks. And they were honestly the first team this year outside of the Raiders game that gave Drake May like actual and the Patriots offense as a whole like actual problems. I know the Steelers forced 5 turnovers in their meeting earlier in the year, but that is just a little bit different. Um, for the Texans, yeah, going forward, I guess you have to have like some serious talks. Like, is CJ Stroud, is he gonna be our guy going forward? Like, what? And if so, like, how do we fix whatever's going on? Because there's clearly issues going on with Stroud. He's not playing good. Uh, I think a great observation that somebody told me is that he's throws flat-footed. He's standing and like it's weird. It's not what other quarterbacks do. I don't get it. Maybe he got a new coach after his first year and he changed his mechanics, but something is wrong. Like, he's missing wide open layup throws. So something's wrong with him. And if he's going to be your guy going forward, you need to either invest in a really good quarterback coach or find him a really good trainer to get some of this stuff fixed. Cause it's like, this defense is too good not to win more of these games.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you on everything you just said. The point about like the get off speed and stuff, it's kind of the same that we were talking about when we watched like Bijan or Gibbs or
Yeah.
McCaffrey or those types of people. When I watch, I mean, Alcaraz play tennis, or when I
Mhm.
watch LeBron play basketball, or any of these ultra athletes, uh, I don't know how I'm the same species as these people. We're all humans, and I'm like, is this how it is in like the animal kingdom of like where you have like tigers, and they're just like some tigers are just like unable to do the things that other tigers are. Do they have
Yeah.
that type of difference in their species like we do? Because
Yeah.
I don't understand it. When I see McCaffrey do the ladder drills, I'm like, okay, that's not I'm not the same thing as him. I'm
No.
different." When I see Will
Yeah.
Anderson do that at 6'6", 250, I'm like, number 1, how does he move like that? Number 2, how is he so strong? How is it doesn't make any sense. I'll never forget, like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be at the AFC Championship game. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I remember I was at the, AFC Championship game when they played the Broncos last time, and on TV, Gronk doesn't look that big. He looks bigger than most of the people, but Gronk
Mhm.
is an actual mammoth of a human being, and he's faster than most people. He's stronger than everybody, and it doesn't make
Mhm.
sense that he's real. And then you see Gronk stand next to somebody like Shaq, and it's like, you
Yeah.
know how they do like the evolution like
Yeah.
structure, like the size of like it's like this is a human next to like a beluga whale, and then it's like this is a human
Yeah.
next to a blue whale. It's like
Yeah.
that would be like you put you put a baby, then you put a small person, then you put a little, and then you put me, and then it's like six other rungs. You're somewhere in the middle of this, and then you put Gronk, and then 10 more, and then it's Shaq, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yao Ming's out there. I don't understand. I don't understand, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You're a tall
It's
guy, by the way. You're probably you're fast, probably too. You're more of an athlete than most people on Earth,
y
but
yeah, but
still
when you
insane.
see, like, a professional athlete in person or, like, see how they move, it's like, "Okay, yeah, that's." Again, I like to consider myself an athletic person, but when you see, like, a professional athlete move like that in person, you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, never mind." This
Yeah, it's any sport too.
Yeah.
It's like you watch boxers. If you watch a pro boxer, how they
Mhm.
hit, how they just punch normally. It's like,
Yeah.
are you out of your mind? Like that would kill a normal person. If they
Yeah.
just like jab a random person in the street, they would just kill them. Their face would explode.
Yeah.
Um, I, God, yeah, I'm I'm very happy that there weren't any injuries today for the Pats. Carlton
Mhm.
Davis went out with a potential concussion at the end, but I don't think he was concussed. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I it didn't look like he hit his head in any like extremely
Mhm.
hard, difficult way. They just wanted to be take precautions. I understand. Um,
Yeah.
for the stuff you said about the CJ Stroud, uh, I mean, he came into the league after the first season. He went on the podcast. He's like, I got myself in my top 5, and then he gave his top
Mhm.
5, and he put himself 4, which is funny. Not even
Mhm.
to put himself 5. He's like, well, Dak's actually worse than me. which is just a funny funny thing to say. I think that's hilarious. And people use that every year, and he was really good his rookie year. I don't wanna take anything away from him that year, but there's been such a regression, and
Mhm,
I don't know what's happened. I think it could be the throwing motion. He still has a beautiful deep ball. It's everything else underneath that probably takes more just straight up, like, accuracy throws,
mhm.
and I don't know. I don't know where it comes and where it goes. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what Stroud's gonna be in the next year or 2. Uh, there's arguments to be made that he should have been benched today. Very good arguments. I don't think that that's a minority opinion. I think he probably should have been benched today, and everybody would have understood, except for Stroud, and except for people that, uh, except if you believe in him as the franchise quarterback and the guy you drafted second overall, and if you bench him in a playoff game in the second half coming out of the locker room, it's hard to stay with him. And so they
Yeah.
kept with him, and I mean, he played a little better in the second half. Uh, didn't turn the ball over 4 times, and this game was close because uh, Drake didn't play well, and that he didn't play as bad, but he got strip sacked too many times. And we were talking about how he just needs to have a better mental clock on Tuesday's podcast and throughout the week when we were talking. And I think he did somewhat. I also think I think a couple of those were just absolute. I think Will Anderson forced every fumble, but uh, I think it was again Will
Yeah.
Anderson. I don't like, geez Louise. But the thing is, like, some of those were Drake May needs to be better. A few of those,
Mhm.
I think 2 of them were just straight up like, there's no way you can assume that it's gonna be that quick. That happened to Rodgers too, where a lot of people were harping on Rodgers being bad. One of those is took a second and a half. It's like you cannot
Yeah.
predict you're getting blasted in the back
You
in a second and a
cannot
half.
assume that your left tackle is gonna be legitimately instantly. As soon as there's the one of
If
the
you
plays that he got strip sacked on, I think Will Campbell only got one hand on him, and he was, like, bending the corner and all the already around him, like, that you can't account for that.
Yeah, and I ask every listener here right now, right here, right now, if you get T-boned in a car accident, do you think people start saying, "Hmm, why'd that happen to you?
Yeah.
You gotta be
Yeah,
better
and
than that. You gotta be a better."
it could be the fact that maybe you ran a stop sign or you ran a red light, and in that case, it would be your fault. But if you're driving through a nice green light, green as a meadow, you're driving through, and a freight train of a car is speeding through there and plows into the side of you. There's
Yeah,
nothing
cars
you can
off or the
say.
freight train's off the tracks. It's off the
Yeah,
tracks. It's a monster of a freight train. It's a
yeah,
choo-choo! I
and
mean,
it
geez
happens to be the
Louise.
illegitimate son of LeBron James.
He looks too much like LeBron for there not to be a DNA test. He doesn't need to get one because he's also very wealthy now, but I need to see, I need
Yeah,
to see the mom. I need to see Will Anderson's mom.
mhm,
I need to see where she's
yeah,
from, where her whereabouts were, where LeBron was, all this stuff. It would be
mhm,
an interesting documentary. In fact, we should actually take
yeah,
that out and we should get the rights to that and
yeah.
start pursuing that.
He's
Who
too
is
good of an
Will Anderson?
athlete. Too good of an athlete to too good of an athlete with too much resemblance for there to not be like, "Okay,
And he's
where's
also of
where's
like
your
the
brother?"
age where it would definitely makes sense for LeBron to have a kid that age.
I know.
He's the same age as Bronny and all, and basically.
Yes,
He's 2 years
exactly.
older than him. Because
Uh,
LeBron's an old man now. Speaking of old
yeah,
athletes, I just want to say this. You said about Brady real quick. Brady's actually the best announcer now. I know we talked about that briefly. I
mhm,
saw a video, 2 videos on Brady, a little Brady corner before we move on. I guess one other Patriot thing on this. Brady was playing catch on the field in Seattle, and every time he would throw a ball, like he was just warming up playing catch, he would instinctively go to reach into his hand warmer. Like he's an actual psychopath, but he didn't have the hand warmer on, so he would like try to do it and like he like put it in like his suit pockets basically. And you could see that
yeah,
he's like legitimately just a psychopath at this sport.
yeah,
It's just like an instinct
yeah,
for him to do it when he throws a ball. And then the other thing, um he was on a podcast and he said like how actual psychopath or how much of a psychopath he was like he knows every perfect pass he would throw and he like jot them down. and he'd remember, like, he'd know he'd be trying to, like, hit you in the ear, and if it, like, hit you in the nose, like, he'd be like, he's just off by this much, and he'd, like, work on that. And the truth is, every athlete wants to be great, and this is what, like, separates, like, the actual Mount Rushmore, like, type athletes, because he is, and this is, like, just, you know, I don't need to be saying anything better about Brady, but yeah, he's great at announcing now. He was not good last year. Now all of a sudden he's the best. And he also is flaunting his watches all over, which is hilarious that he's
Yeah.
49 and he just has probably a $25 million watch collection, if not more. And he posts them on Instagram whenever he wears one.
Yeah.
This one yesterday was between like 750 and $900,000. So what a guy.
That's nice.
But we have the next Tom Brady now in New England and Drake May, who might even be better. And he did not look better today, although I think if you put Brady behind that offensive line today, I don't know how he would look, honestly. And made it well enough. Again, if you look at the box score of the game logs, he had 110 passer rating or whatever, 3 touchdowns. The only quarterback to throw 3 touchdowns against the Texans defense all year long. The 1 interception shouldn't count because it's the end of the half, Hail Mary, whatever.
Yeah.
The fumbles are a problem. Those won't happen again. I'm confident they're not going to happen at the rate that they happened today or last week. The Broncos will get after him though, and he needs to clean that up. And I'm sure that he knows that. Like, it's not, that doesn't fall on deaf ears to him. Ramondre, I was ready for the team to release him after the Steelers loss. If people go back and listen to that, I was so disappointed in how Ramondre played, and the fact that they didn't. Again, I'm not a head coach for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them. That's probably at the very low end of the list, but he was great today. He's phenomenal. And then Keyshawn
Mhm.
Boutte, we should not be an hour and 17 minutes and 35. I don't know. There's going to be cuts in this, but we shouldn't be an over hour into this without us mentioning one of the greatest catches in the history of the sport.
Yeah,
I
that was
just
insane.
that was. I mean, Odell's catch is always going to be put on a pedestal because of what it was
Mhm.
and how famous that was and all the eyes on it and who caught it, Odell. This is an LSU receiver as well, and the funny thing is it was on the same sideline, on the same DB as where Drake May threw his first touchdown to the same wide receiver against
Mm.
Derek Stingley against the Texans. And I think you might remember this, where he made his first start against the Texans, and there he was like, "Whoa," throwing him out to the Wolves. And
Oh, yeah.
it was at the end of the half from like the 50-yard line, and he just threw like a beautiful deep ball to Keyshawn Boutte, and it's the same thing that happened there. Obviously, the catch this time was a lot better, but it was on the same side of the field, the same deep route on the same everything like that, which is fun because now they're, instead of going 4-13 or whatever they win last year, 3-14, something like that. They're going to the AFC Championship game, and
Mm.
it's a great feeling. I mean, you feel like you f- you feel great about this team and Vrabel and all the accomplishments, but it's not
Yeah.
over for the team. You hopefully they can keep going. So that's
Yeah.
my take for the Pats. My take for the Texans is you got to see if that's their quarterback, and I guess you give them
Yeah.
one more year, but that's it.
Mhm.
Pick up the 5th-year option, I guess, and then because I think they just did it with Bryce Young in Carolina, and yeah, play with him next year. And if he's
He should go
bad,
back on Micah's podcast and redo his top 5. I think he needs to do that. And he should actually
if
put
you're Micah
himself higher.
Parsons,
He should put himself at 3 now instead.
well, speaking of Will Anderson, did you need to listen to what Will Anderson said about him after the game?
About Micah Parsons?
No, about
Oh,
CJ Stroud. It
okay.
was just nonsense. Like, he's like, well, first of all, we play for the Lord. He was doing that stuff, and it's like, okay,
Mm.
keep going. I don't think the Lord's happy with the performance of the Texans today. If he's a football fan and he's like, what?
Ugh.
This is a playoff game right now. There's 8 turnovers in the first half. I'm not happy. Might strike someone dead. I might come back with striking people dead. Is what the Lord could have done, but he speaks. So hey, you're not going to be the one, but somebody on this field is going to be struck dead on your team if you keep playing like this for the Lord. Um, CJ, but he said that, and he's like, "There's not a single quarterback I'd rather have than CJ Stroud." I told him he's the best on the earth, and he needs to know it. I'm like, you'd rather have. I think there's like, I said earlier today. I said I'd take CJ Stroud probably in the 12 to 20 range. He's in there any given day where he could rise and fall between there. I mean,
Yeah.
he's around there still, but I think he's definitely not. I think he's in the lower end of it.
Mhm.
I just feel like this is another him and Herbert. Herbert's better than him, but Herbert's in the same thing where it's like we need to see something out of these groups. Like we
Win.
talked about we talked about the forgotten like era of quarterbacks, which is Lamar and Josh Allen. Of like, wow, how have they not done anything? I'm gonna be honest with you. This next group that's after them, that's a little younger than them, that's the Stroud, the Bryce Young, the Herberts, the
Mhm.
Burrows. I mean, we're looking at actually like Tua,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's getting into like, well, at least the other guys won awards. We're looking at people like celebrating Pro Bowls and leading passer stat rankings.
Yeah.
Win something,
I know.
win a big game. And I mean, I'm happy they didn't win today, but yeah, Stroud was horrible. Last game.
Yep.
Last game is the what game we just watched? Rams Bears. What was
Mhm.
that one? Rams Bears, and I am going to be honest. I'm shocked that the Rams won, but I am only. But the truth of the matter is, a gambler's luck only goes so far, and
Yeah.
that's how I see it. Darren.
I I thought about that actually throughout the game when Ben Johnson kept going for it on 4th down in field goal range when it's freezing cold out. Points, I guess hindsight's obviously 2020 where you could be like, "Oh, points are at a premium today," but take the points. Take the points, especially in the first half, especially after you see, okay, you know what? This isn't a shootout. This is a close game. This freezing cold. Nobody's offense is moving the ball. Take the points, play the field position. That has to be what he takes away from this. And I know this year is different. They were kind of like the they're kind of the underdog this year, having their backs against the wall, new kids on the block. It's the Bears. They're supposed to suck. It's easier to do that when you are playing from like that position of like, hey, nobody believes in us. Nobody. Do you see what happens with the Lions when when you get good, you can't play like you're the hunted anymore. You have to play a different style of football. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if this Bears team is actually good. I don't know if they're going to be good next year or if this is a little bit of like a run. I think they'll be competitive. I don't think that they'll be a 2 seed next year, but I don't know. In the Rams, they're fine. The, I think Seattle was going to have their way with them. This Rams team, they're good enough to beat inferior teams, and they played two between the Panthers and the Bears, two teams that just don't quite pass the smell test to me. Maybe I'm being a hater on the Bears a little bit, but I don't think the Bears are that great of a team, and the Rams have kind of limped their way through the playoffs, skating by and beating the Panthers and now skating by to beat the Bears. I think Seattle's going to have their way with them. They just peaked too early in the season. That's their problem.
Yeah, yeah. it- Getting by on the hair of your teeth. I guess if the Bears would have won this, it would have been them doing it again as well. But now instead, the
Yeah.
Rams have done it twice. I have confidence in Stafford being able to play well in a hostile environment in Seattle because he
Mhm.
can again he can understand blitz packages and blitz pickups. Great word that everybody uses and phrase that everybody uses. Simulated pressures. That means nothing, but he can do it. He can pick it
Yeah.
up and understand it better than Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams is fun to watch. I mean, it does feel like this last year's draft class is gonna be special with in terms of, like, what we get out of it, whether they went to the right team or whether they just are incredible talents. That last second touchdown that he threw to send it to overtime is I mean, it actually doesn't compute with me that he's the same species as I am as a human being. I mean, I'm like, how does he throw the ball like that?
Yeah.
I that I'm so surprised if you would have put odds that Caleb Williams throws a last second touchdown with both feet off the ground, falling backwards. Um, that Chris Collinsworth does not make a Mahomes comparison. If you would have put odds at that and you would have given me uh, whatever odds you want, I would have said, "Oh, he's going to compare him to Mahomes." He did not. I could not believe that.
Yeah.
But that was one where it is actually justifiable. That was very Mahomesian of Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, in actually more Mahomesian ways than anything I've ever seen Mahomes do. That looked like the
Yeah.
Mahomes incomplete pass where he was, like, parallel to the ground
Yeah.
against the Bucks in the Super Bowl. Like, that was incredible that
Yeah.
he threw that ball the way he did with as much oomph behind it to get it
Mhm.
a perfect throw that really only the tight end can get. I know that you don't like the Bears because they're in your division. That's justifiable. I don't wanna take that away from you. I think that it's good that you hate him, but I do think that he's obviously good. Problem is
Yeah, he's the only
we
one to
saw
not make a championship. He's the only one out of that draft class who's not played on championship Sundays, so I don't
I
know,
love that.
but
I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, neither has, Penix and JJ McCarthy, if dude.
yeah, I think that's the company that he's with. I think that's the company he sits at the table with.
Um, I do wanna just say we haven't done this with any other team, but I'm looking at the Bears' schedule next year. I mean, it's not gonna be easy. So, of course, they play the division that they're in twice, right? So, Lions, Packers, Vikings twice. Then they play at Atlanta, who just hired Kevin Stefanski. I think that's a great hire. I think that's a brilliant hire, and they need to get the quarterback position down. But outside of that, Stefanski is one coach of the year twice with the Browns. That's our only mention of that right now. We're going to talk about that more on
Yeah.
Tuesday. But they play at Atlanta. They play at Buffalo. They play at Carolina. Speaking of that, Carolina, that's a grueling schedule. If you want to go through a schedule, we're not going to do that on pod. Look at Carolina's schedule next year and say, like, whoa, six
Yeah.
and a half wins. Like their over under is going to be 7.5. I think it's going to be grueling. So at Carolina, New Orleans at home, Tampa at home, New England at home, oof, Jets at home, at Miami, at Jacksonville at home, Philly at home, at Seattle. I mean, that's a grueling schedule. That's actually a
Yeah.
schedule where just on paper it looks like it's got very few quote unquote freebies. And I think that we're gonna see what they are next year. And that's more they might make they probably are gonna make the playoffs or be in the playoff running because I do think Caleb is a good quarterback. I think Ben Johnson's a good coach. I think the team around him has a lot left to fill. Like I think that defense is not great, but it's not they have the bones and that offensive line they revamped it and it was a lot better this year. They play to the style of the QB, and that's what you want out of a coach like Ben Johnson to make. And he's actually he is a gambler. I know you said once you become the hunter, you can't act like the hunted. Well, that's changing the guy's philosophy, and
Yeah.
he was the one calling the plays when they were the hunters with the Lions. So it's not like it was Dan Campbell
Yeah.
doing all that. Obviously, Dan Campbell gets to say we're going here, but who's calling the plays when they're going there? And that was
That's
Ben
true.
Johnson. And Ben Johnson is I think he's better at scheming than anybody in the league except for probably McVay. There's an argument for Shanahan. I do think McVay and Shanahan's offenses are kind of getting a little more stale in terms of like how everything is just repetitive and it's now getting mimicked too much. And eventually it's going to be easy, not easy, but um, it's going to be combated easier because now you're going to
Mhm.
have people. There's a lot of people coming from those staffs that now defend against those offenses and practice
Yeah.
every day and understand them. But I think Ben Johnson's great. I think Caleb's actually actually really fun to watch, and I don't have any ill will against him. I do think though that this is probably the right place for them to be eliminated in, especially after winning the way they did last week. It would have it would have been a win that is deserved, but it would have been really due in large part to the factors of being at home and weather, which I do actually appreciate and I like. And they're throwing that
Mhm.
away by getting a dome stadium, which I do not think should happen. I think we need to have this we need to continue this love affair that we have with outdoor weather football games. I don't want
Yes.
to have I don't wanna have my football manicured. No pun intended to Caleb Williams' nails. I wanna actually have, um, I wanna have, like, cold weather football, and I want it to stay that way because I think that you had
Uh-huh.
a game here where they had the advantage of the conditions because Stafford's old and he's not good in cold weather, and you
Yeah.
saw how bad he looked. He was off
Yeah.
today. He looked about as off as CJ Stroud at times, and he was better than
Yeah.
him too at times, don't get me wrong, but, yeah. For the
And
Rams,
both guys
just for
played
the
in
Rams.
cold, inclement weather. Like it matters, and I think that that's good that it matters. Be good enough to where you can play at home and have, not only a crowd effect, but like a weather effect. Build your team to be used to the cold. You live in it. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah, it's a home field advantage. It's a
Mhm.
sport where home field advantages are supposed to matter. Like,
Mhm.
that's you don't you play for the seating to have home field. It's not so you can rest your head on on your bed before the game.
Yeah.
Nobody stays at their house before a game. They stay at a hotel. But it's you wanna get flyer miles? Like, what is this? I'm saying that I would be using it all to my advantage. You see in Miami, guess what? On the road, you get the sun on your sideline, especially in the early season. That's terrible. It's very hot
Yeah.
and humid. Teams actually are cold in or warm. In Denver, you are on in very high in altitude. They make that
Mhm.
obvious. Like they do not downplay that. They don't put the stadium deep into the ground so you're at sea level. Um, I I just I got a funny text just now. That's why I was smiling too, by
The
the way.
Seahawks
But
should move their stadium up to Mount Rainier and play at altitude
they
and
should actually.
Make Mile High look like it's child's play.
They should.
They're
They
playing
should.
at like
I mean,
15,000 feet.
there's an actual like element to dragging a team into your home field and like, saying, "Hey, beat us in like the elements." I
Mhm.
really believe that. And I don't know. I think we're fracturing that as a society by building all these teams domes just so that they can have other events there. Keep the football team there. Build a concert venue, or do what most people do: have concerts in the summer when people are touring.
Mhm.
What big artist is going on massive tours to these massive venues that every city doesn't already have in the middle of winter? There's nobody that does
Yeah.
that. They can use the Bulls arena. The Bulls have an arena in Chicago. They can use that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of places in Chicago. That's the third biggest city in
Mhm.
the country. I don't think they need a state of the art new Chicago Bears uh, football stadium for that. They could do their summer concerts there. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Or how about the artists do it in the elements? Ever thought about that? A
I
rain
like
concert's
that.
awesome. A snow concert's awesome. People love those. Those are like some of the most iconic things ever are or rain
Yeah.
concerts. So, yeah, let's
I
boogie.
like it.
But for the Rams, yeah, my only big takeaway is we'll see round 3. 2 of the best games of the season have been Rams Seahawks. So I'm hoping for a firecracker uh
Mhm.
third one, but I do think that the Seahawks are the better team, and I know that the odds there, unless they've changed since the end of the game, it was a pick 'em pretty much. I don't like it that it's a pick 'em, and I think we should be really in on the Seahawks. And that's my immediate lean, especially since it went into
Mm.
overtime and the Rams defense played like 90 plays.
Seahawks -2.5, and it's -118, so it's creeping up still.
Yeah, that should be 3, 3.5. That's where I think it
It'll
should
get
land.
there.
The Rams defense, I think played. Like I said, I think they played like 88 plays or 89 plays today.
Yeah. Too many plays.
Yeah, and they're coming off of a brutal game against Carolina.
Mhm.
It just feels like Seattle should trounce them, which that's now it's like, uh-oh, are we passing my smell test?
Yeah.
But okay, how you leaning in both these games? You think Seahawks? You think we're getting a rematch of Super Bowl 49, the greatest Super Bowl in the history of football?
Yeah, I think so. I do like both the favorites this week.
If we get a rematch, I actually God. I might. I can't swing that. I was like, I might have to actually go to that game. How much are tickets to the Super Bowl right now? You wanna check Game Time? How much are they?
Yeah.
I should get us, press credentials.
Yeah.
How much are those Super Bowl tickets? What are they going for?
I'd have to look in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could just type Super Bowl up. Um, I keep getting, like, threads things sent to me from Jeff Passan, like, the baseball guy, for ESPN. It's like PTSD. It just randomly comes across breaking start outfield with Kyle Tucker and the Dodgers are in agreement on a free agent contract. That happened like 5 days ago. Why am I getting that now?
Yeah. Um, in the door price is $6,500.
Hmm. Wow. That's nice. That's another thing that's a problem with society. If we're gonna do gripes about society on this, it's the ticket inflation,
Yeah.
um, that's happened since COVID. I mean,
Yeah, I
did
mean, for
everybody did
anything
everybody
that's
just
like
save
a
ticket
weekly.
budget up for, like, 7 years? What happened there? Do you know how much I paid for a ticket for the 2016 AFC Championship game, which was Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning?
How much?
350, and we were 8 rows up, uh, in the end zone. 350 a ticket. I think it was 375. Granted, got a good deal, but we paid, over face, but it was, like, close to over face. The thing is, if anybody's watching right now or listening right now, go check Game Time right now or Ticketmaster or StubHub or any of these for how much they cost, and then think about I already bought my ticket, and I know I'm gonna regret it because I need to just delete the apps off my phone because I'm gonna keep checking, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh my god," because 'cause you're gonna see it go to, like, half what I paid probably. I'm happy I'm locked in, but don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's an app, and I'm gonna just keep looking. I'm gonna be like, "How much you pay?" And then somebody's gonna be like, "Yeah, I paid like $250." I'm like, "I'm gonna fight you right now. I'm gonna have to beat your ass. I'm gonna stab you. Sneak a knife in there." Last
Yeah.
time I was at the Broncos Patriots AFC Championship game, a guy with nipple rings tried to fight me at the end of it. Tried to fight me and Rowan. Yeah,
That's funny.
so it's a good time. But um, okay, good podcast. Good podcast. Are we good?
Fantastic podcast. As
See ya.
always.
Well, yep, we'll be back predicting on Tuesday. 2 games left, involving,
There
like,
you
some of our favorite teams, which is fun. This is fun to be caring about this and deeper than a gambling level this late into it. Sorry, Darren, but Greg cares.
go. Yeah.
So, okay.
I mean, I the Seahawks.
Whoa!